So hey everybody, I'm Dean Sonderegger. I work for Wolters Kluwer, and my talk for the evening, she has the clicker. My talk for the evening is going to be about really a dive into the tax accounting industry of all things and how technology has changed that industry over the last 10 years. And why would you do that at a legal conference, right? Well, if you think when you look at it, what you'll find is that the changes that technology has driven in tax provide a little bit of a window into the changes that you might see in the legal industry coming down the pipe. So I'll skip my picture. So I think that a lot of the literature when we start to talk about the law focuses on two different models of the law. You have the artisan who is necessary to create a unique work every time there's an engagement, versus law being a set of repeatable tasks that a robot could be trained to do. And we have all kinds of different predictions, most of them dire for lawyers, about the impact of technology. And so that's kind of the things that we want to start to dig into a little bit here. So as we do that, I want to take a quick second to look through the value story that the professions themselves, the legal profession, provides to clients. So why do people hire a lawyer? Well, really for two reasons. One is that, as depicted by all those books there, there's specialized knowledge that they need that lay people just don't have. So they need access to that specialized knowledge. And then second of all, they need somebody to represent them in certain circumstances. And this is true in tax, this isn't true in the legal market. And what you have here is a sense of exclusivity. You have high educational requirements and you have licensure requirements in order to be able to practice, right? So what does technology do? It really does three things to that. The first thing is that good expert technology kind of breaks that knowledge barrier down. It distributes that knowledge to the lay person so they can take actions without the intervention of a professional. It democratizes it. To Linda's point, it gives access to more people. The second thing that happens is that technology, when it works really well, automates a simple task so that a lay person can proceed and perform that task efficiently and effectively. In this case, that's a really neat thing if you ever hang a picture and having a laser come across, right? The other thing, the third thing that technology does is it can take complicated tasks that require a professional to do and dramatically improve the efficiency. And I'm not going to, on the basis of time here, talk through what a combine is on a farm, but it dramatically changes how effective and productive a farm is. And if you go down to India and other places like that where they're introducing them, it's a world-changing event. So when we talk about tax, right, the fundamental thing that has happened in the last 10 years in the tax market has been the evolution of consumer tax preparation software. So if you look up here, you'll see that in 2016, 55 million people e-filed their tax returns, and they did that using something like TurboTax. That means that 55 million people received expert tax advice without talking to an accountant. That's quite a change, right? Now, the first thing you might think about there is you say, well, okay, well, then that means the law firms, the tax accounting firms are losing business, right? Not so. If you look up there, the blue bars across show that the number of returns filed by professional tax preparers has been about the same for the last 13 years. However, that orange line that starts to descend there, that's the number of firms providing tax returns, and it's shrinking. And so what you see is the same amount of work and demand from the market, but efficiency tools, which occur on the professional side as well as on the consumer side, are driving it such that there are fewer preparers, fewer firms, and fewer tax accountants preparing returns. So that's the second effect. So the other thing I was going to point out is that we think of TurboTax and other software like that as just being something that fills out, it's an expert system that fills out the return, but increasingly these services have experts that you can talk to, and they have audit defense services. So that representation as part of that bargain with the professionals is being met by a software company with a very small staff of accountants compared to if everybody went in to see their own accountant. So now the tendency to say here is, okay, that's a consumer problem. That it's only occurring on the consumer side of the house. But the reality is the same technology that's being used on the consumer side is being used on the professional side, the corporate side. If you look at the top 10 accounting firms in 2003, about a third of their business came through from tax. If you look at that same number in 2016, it's down to about a quarter. Why is that? That's because, I'm sorry. That was my 30-second mark. Oh, I have to accelerate now. That is because you've seen insourcing in large scale on the corporate tax side. So now, here's my predictions that we have real quickly, very quickly apparently. So the first prediction is that we've already started to see consumer legal services come in. You're going to see a lot more people get access to law without talking to an attorney directly. On the corporate side, you're going to see two things happen. You're going to continue to see the insourcing. The same insourcing of the legal market that you see on the tax accounting side, you're going to see with corporate counsel. And we already see that. Corporate counsel outside spend is flat. Corporate counsel internal spend is growing. And then finally, and the last thing that I'll leave you with is that the efficiency tools are coming, and they're coming that allow us to do fees and service, to allow us to do legal tasks much more effectively and efficiently. What you'll see that start off with is more services provided for the same fee, but as you see more movement into corporate counsel, you're going to see the fees start to grow. And so those are my 3 predictions. Thank you.